Thank you, Kayla. You make us proud as a Morehouse alumnus of your great work. My name is Reverend William Edward Flippin, Jr. I serve as third vice president of the Georgia NAACP. On behalf of Dr. Francis Johnson. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I think it's timely to mention his name here at the campus of Morehouse College, graduate of 1948, said when machines and computers, profit motives and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, militarism, and economic exploitation are incapable of being conquered. Dr. King preached this in 1967. He would be amazed at the realities of technocracy that has stolen the realities of us connecting with people and places and things. That's why we demand for climate action now. As a representative of our grand association, we declare that we must limit carbon pollution from power plants. Dr. King would be crying out against any coal-fired plants, which produces dangerous pollutants into the air and drain our precious waters. Even before any Earth Day in 1970, King believed in environmental justice, the shaping of the beloved community that before people of all races embraced mutuality and respect needed the resources for clean air and for water. Justice for the NAACP since its founding some 106 years ago as a multiracial ecumenical organization in our worst period of African descent people, in the midst of lynchings, demanded the enforcement of the 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. That's why we say clean air now. That's why we are confronting, as Dr. Warnock says, corporate greed and governmental policies unfairly that harm minority and disadvantaged communities. Yes, we are here. We are here in the need of environmental justice because in our own community, even in the great city of Atlanta, the city too busy to hate, we see children who are products of the inner city. What do you see in the defiant stare? What do you hear in the gangster lyrics? What do you discern in the broadening hearts of the youth of our streets, of our cities? Are there mere warriors throwing stones, moving somewhere along the continuum of fist, stick, knife, gun, first articulated by many, many people? The moral need, I tell you, for environmental justice leads us for the moral need of green pastures. That's why we say clean air now. Green pastures are something worth saving, something worth restoring, something worth the price of redemption and even the cost of crucifixion. These are the green pastures moments on the battlefields. These are the still waters, and yet Rivers and Browns are still warriors by being on the streets. They show that they are warriors as tough as David against Goliath. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I will fear no evil. We have no reason to fear because the God I serve gives us supply oil for the anointing, strength for the journey, certainty of abundance till our cup runneth over, the surety promise of his presence. That's why we can stand in the midst of our teenage kids who are fighting every imaginable temptations that they try to steer their way through the most tumultuous years of their lives. That's why we can stand with the widow who is suffering and grieving, the AIDS victim who suffer quietly and don't want their condition to be known. People who live below the poverty line and are dealing with the reality of mold that reproduce by means of tiny spores will know that our challenge is moral. Our challenge is in the shaping that all God's creatures, black, white, Protestant, gay and straight, are God's good creation to demand justice. But also we are the hands and feet of our Creator in walking the streets because we are called to do so, to point proud warriors in need of change and society with our stride of goodness and mercy that will follow us all the days of our life. And we will, because we have no fear, because we have clean climate action now, shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I'd like to now introduce Laura Turner Slidell, an international activist. She's over Mothers and Others for Clean Air. Let us receive her at this time.